So everybody talks about locking in like it's some magic switch that you can just flip and boom, you're shredded, you're rich, and you're dating your dream girl. But let's be real, guys. How do you actually lock in? Not just post quotes on your story or watch these hustle reels, but really actually lock in. The kind of locking in that changes your life in 90 days. And I'm gonna be real with you. It starts with one thing, and that one thing is focus. But not just try harder type focus. I'm talking about precision, elimination, and structure. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I lock in and how you can do the same. All right, so what caused me to actually make this video is from the fact that we are out of this winter arc phase. You guys remember that around 4 or 5 months ago? I actually gave tips on how you can actually maximize your winter arc. Now, looking back over the past 4 to 3 months, did you really lock in? Were you focused? Did you cut distractions? Did you cut vices? Were you doing work every single day, 2-3 hours minimum a day? If not, then that's a sign that even you, knowing that you should lock in, still find it so difficult. You see, what I found is that most people know what to do, they simply just don't know how to do it. And if they know how to do it, they can't stick with it for a long period of time. Now, also within that video, I mentioned how I don't believe locking in is a seasonal thing. Locking in is a lifetime thing. And yes, you can change your life in 90 days if you were to lock in, but imagine if you were locking in for an entire year, even multiple years on end. All right, so once again, I'm gonna show you exactly how in this video, and let's start with step number 1. And that is you have to know the goal precisely. Like literally, you have to know exactly what you want. I mentioned this on my Patreon recently, but whenever you actually know the goal to the exact T and to a clear, defined, written down statement, you're more likely to actually hit it. And I'm gonna give you some bad examples and good examples of what goal setting actually looks like. So first one, I want to lose weight. This is bad. It's not clear, it's not defined. It doesn't have a clear set goal. You know, what does that mean? Do you wanna lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds? Do you wanna lose fat or do you wanna lose weight? Because weight and fat are two different things. But a good example of that will be, I want to lose 10 pounds and get to 8% body fat lean. You see how clear and defined that is? And the reason why you want to set precise goals is because something within our brain is called the reticular activation system. And this means that our brain finds ways to help achieve our goals. And first, you have to know exactly what you want. Now, not only with that, you have to write it down and read it every single day. You have to keep your goal top of mind, because the reason why people stop locking in is because they simply forget about the goal. And I find that most people will create that change when they're in a lot of pain. They want to move away from that pain, or they're stuck and sick and tired of being in the position that they're in. But that only lasts for about a week or two, max a month. And then on month 2, you kind of get back into your old habits, your old ways, and you lose sight of the goal because you didn't know exactly what you wanted and you didn't keep it top of mind. And this is the importance of like vision boards, writing down the goal, reading it every day, and constantly being reminded of what you want. Even setting wallpapers. I kid you not, right now, where's my phone? My phone's over there somewhere, but if you look at my wallpaper, it has a very, very big goal of mine. And that is to eventually own a Bugatti. At first I had like a Mercedes, I had like a Lamborghini, and not to brag, but I feel like those things are too easy for me because I can literally get them now. I need to put something that is a little scary for me. And that's also a sign of a good goal, is that it's a little bit scary to achieve. Like it kind of makes you nervous a little bit. That's how you know you're reaching to really good levels. Now, I'm gonna give you some more examples of bad goals and good goals. Another bad one would be, I want to make more money. Now, most of you guys do want to improve your financial position, but if you frame it like that, your brain isn't gonna know what to work on. And so a better example would be, I want to create and start my YouTube channel and get to 100 videos posted, which obviously could affect your income. Or I want to create a business that helps X person do X and make 10K a month while doing so. You see how these are more clearly defined goals and not vague sort of goals that most people say they want? And also, the desire you have for the goal is backed by how detailed it is. So if you tell me that you have a vague goal, I want to make more money, I want to lose weight, I want to get stronger, I want to attract hotter women, whatever it may be, that tells me that the desire for that goal really isn't that strong. And I kid you not, the number one thing that tells me somebody is capable of locking in and reaching their desired goal is how passionate they are about it. And that usually stems from how much pain they're in to move away from the current position that they're in. Any goal that I've ever wanted and I had a strong desire for, I've literally have never not achieved. Like seriously, if you put your mind to something and you have the strong passion and desire behind it, you have no choice but to win. All right, so that's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to write down your goals exactly. Another one is I want to go on 1 date a week with a woman I'm excited about instead of I want to attract hotter women. All right, so that's the first thing you gotta do. Now, number 2, and this is very important when it comes to locking in, is that you have to write down a list of vices and distractions that will hinder you from this goal. You see, you don't realize that the reason you're in a position to where you're at right now is because your thoughts and your habits have put you there. And I'll be real, everybody has vices. I've never not met a person who doesn't have a vice. But vices can be good and some vices can actually be beneficial. For example, if you're addicted to caffeine, not the end of the world. But if you're addicted to marijuana, if you're addicted to pornography, if you're addicted to scrolling on TikTok for 3 hours a day, then that's obviously taken away from your ability to lock in, because all locked in really means is just being able to focus on a singular task or goal for long periods of time. That's all it really means. And so if you have vices and habits that will take you away from that, taking away your energy, removing your clarity, and definitely killing your motivation, you're just not gonna hit it. And so what you have to do is pretty much list and audit your bad habits and vices. Now, alongside with that, I want you to write what an ideal day would look like for you if you were already achieving the goal. I'm gonna repeat that again. I want you to write down what an ideal day would look like for you if you were already achieving the goal. What would that person do? How would that person act? What would be this person's morning routine? What would be this person's daily routine? And I want you to act like that person. I've been doing a lot of research and listening to books revolved around our subconscious mind and manifestation, law of attraction. And almost always it comes around this one subject, and that is to live in the wish fulfilled, AKA act like the person who already has achieved the goal. And if you do that, you're more likely to hit the goal. If you want to make more money, let's say $10,000 a month, what does this person who makes $10,000 a month do? What are their habits? And you actually might not even know. You might not know. So you might have to, do some research and see how these people who you inspire to be like act. Also, you can use AI. If you guys don't know, I have a full AI platform called Austin AI. This is an AI that thinks like me, talks like me, acts like me, and is basically your self-improvement coach within your pocket. No, this is not some general chat GPT. This is a personality-based driven AI that's gonna help you improve. And so you can actually ask Austin AI, I want to become like this person. Tell me a list of habits and routines this person does on a daily basis. And me, Austin AI, is gonna give you a complete coherent answer. And then from there, you can start developing what your routine would look like and visualize yourself doing that and also act like that. But remember, you have to be consistent with this. It's not gonna be easy. It will be hard because you're literally making yourself into a new reality, making yourself into a whole new person. But please remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you act the way you've always acted, you're gonna get the same results you've always gotten. So you have to completely change yourself as a person, the habits and everything you do. All right, so by the way, Austin AI is completely free to try. I will leave a link down below this video so that you can check it out for yourself. All right, guys, next is the plan, AKA the how. How are we gonna do this? Now, usually I wouldn't recommend that you dwell on that how too much. As long as you have the desire and the goal and you know exactly what you want and you start acting like this person, the how and the plan is gonna eventually figure out itself. However, there are a list of proprietary things that we can do based around the goals that we want to achieve. So for example, going back to the weight loss or even muscle gain, by the way, the plan will be, I will track my macros daily and follow a systemized routine with progressive overload. Once again, most people know the information of what they need to do. Is more so sticking to that routine and staying accountable with it. Or if you want to start the YouTube channel, like I mentioned before, you would tell yourself in terms of the plan, I will script and post 2 videos every single week, Sunday and Wednesday. Guys, I run 2 YouTube channels. I've never met anybody else who has simultaneously built 2 YouTube channels above 500,000 subscribers. Personally, I've never met them. I know people who've done it, but I've never met them. And so with that being said, you think I just randomly go about these videos? No, I have a whole content calendar. I have a whole content plan. I know exactly when I'm posting, how often I'm posting, even with my workout routines in the gym. You know, I've been filling out my shirt just a little bit more. That's another video. Maybe I'll talk about that. But I have a workout routine to where I train Monday through Saturday. Upper, lower, push, pull, legs, accessories, or push, pull, legs, push, pull, legs. I've always followed the plan because the plan is a routine and the routine is the inputs, and the inputs is what gets results. Now, another one is, let's say you're trying to improve your online dating presence or improve your social media presence. You want to be more attractive online. You want to start actually putting yourself out there, and this is also what I teach in my Digital Romeo mentorship, where we take guys with no social media presence whatsoever, no online dating presence, or maybe they're attracting women they're not that excited about. And we give them this input and this routine, and that is consistently taking 1 to 2 photo shoots per month and communicate with 2 women every day, be it online or in person, every day. You don't have to flirt with these women, but you just have to make a conversation. Could be Instagram, could be dating apps, could be in person, and also, of course, the photo shoots. The photo shoots is the biggest mechanism in terms of the driver of results for anybody who is wanting to create content or be more attractive on online dating platforms or whatever, obviously. And so how can you expect to get results if you never record a video? How can you expect to get results if you never go out and do a photo shoot? And of course, the first few times are gonna be bad. You don't wanna be perfect, but you have to put those inputs in at first to evolve over time. Another one regarding your business might be, I will set up my LLC and start my first paid ad campaign. Maybe you wanna start drop shipping or e-commerce store. I've done all these things, by the way. I've literally tried everything under the book. And I wrote down this plan, exactly what I would do and also when I would do it by. So these are the inputs that's gonna help you lock in even further. Now, the issue here is that a lot of people get confused because they don't know how to bridge the gap between the goal and the plan. And so they want clarity and perhaps a resource to know that they're on the right path. And honestly, this is where it makes sense to either invest in education or even a coach. Now, like I said, I help guys become more attractive on online dating platforms, converting matches into dates while also building their social media presence. That's my Digital Romeo coaching. However, if you want a coach in your pocket, let me give you a reminder. Use AI Austin. AI Austin is going to give you the clarity and help you bridge that gap between your goals, what you want, or even help you establish what you want, and also the plan in which you want to create. Then from there, you can even prompt it to help you create an action plan on how you can exactly lock in every single day. All right, so once again, it's completely free to try. I encourage you to try it out, see how real it actually is. It's almost scary how real it is. And once again, I'm gonna leave the link down below. Now, this is gonna be a bonus, and this is a huge focus tip. And this has worked tons of wonders for me in terms of locking in. Because when it comes to locking in, like, it's hard to lock in the whole entire day. Obviously, we got things to do. We got, you know, our careers, work, school, whatever we got going on. And so basically what you have to do is dedicate the early hours upon awakening, and you're gonna use that to get towards the goal, AKA a deep work session. Now, there's this amazing book by Cal Newport called Deep Work, in which he explains it in very, very detailed sort of way. But just to give you a synopsis of what that book, or a summary of what that book really says, is that most productive work in terms of creative ideas, in terms of actually moving the needle forward towards whatever goal you want, is a period of uninterrupted focus. Not using your cell phone, not scrolling social media, not checking emails, not being distracted by your roommates, not being distracted by what's on the TV. Literally, you in a dark room. I like dark rooms, they're better for focus, for me. You in a dark room where you're focused on one thing for 2, 3, max 4 hours at a time, every single day. I like to personally do it in the morning because when you wake up in the morning and you don't check your cell phone, it's like your dopamine pool is the highest. So when your dopamine pool is the highest, it's actually easier to focus. And then from there, you can easily wake up, do your grooming, and then get right into your deep work routine, 2, 3 hours. This is also the importance of waking up early. It's gonna be hard for you to do this if you're waking up at 10, 11, 12 p.m. Also, alongside with dopamine, protect your dopamine at all costs. The porn, the vices, the things that raise your dopamine too high, artificially too high, is gonna hinder you from your ability to focus. So protect your dopamine, lock in, know what you want in terms of your goals, have a plan of how you're gonna do it, and audit your habits and your life, and act like the person who has already achieved that goal. That's how you're gonna do it. Once again, don't forget to check out AI Austin down below. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.